All of the connections of the Kemper Profiler player can be found on the back. The guitar is connected to the input. If you're using headphones, connect them to the phone socket. An expression pedal or foot switch can be connected to the socket below. You can connect a mixing console or audio interface via the main out connection with the XLR socket. Any active monitor speakers, like the Kemper Power Cabinet, are connected via the monitor out. Of course, it's also possible to connect a separate power amplifier with a speaker cabinet to these outputs. Once you have connected the guitar and your monitoring options, connect the supplied power adapter. The Profiler player starts and loads the last selected rig. Set the desired volume on the master volume control, and you can play. A brief explanation of the term rig. The combination of amp, cabinet profile and effects is called a rig in the Profiler. In other words, the complete signal chain. Other manufacturers also call it a patch or a preset. In our Profiler player signal chain, we first have two effect modules, then the stack, which is comprised of the amp profile and cab, and then two more effect modules for effects in stereo. For example, reverb, delay, or modulation effects. The 3 foot switches can be used to control various actions. The switches are freely assignable, but in their factory default state they have the following functions. Foot switch 3 can be used to select the next rig. Foot switch 1 can be used to select the previous rig, i.e. to switch back. The switch in the middle, foot switch 2, can be used to activate and deactivate effects. The tap/tuner button can be used to tap in the tempo for the time-based effects. The button then flashes red, indicating the selected tempo. The tuner is activated when you briefly press and hold the button. The settings with all available parameters can be made conveniently using the rig manager on the computer, smartphone or tablet. But you can also adjust the essential things on the Profiler player itself using the knobs and buttons. The amount of distortion is set using the gain control, while the treble, middle and bass controls are available on the Profiler player for tone control. The volume of the rig is set with the rig volume control. When you turn the knob, the current setting is displayed in the LED chain. If you want to change the settings for effects, you can do this using the FX1 and FX2 buttons and the corresponding controller. For each rig, any 2 effect modules can be assigned to these 2 control groups of button and knob. The corresponding effect is switched on and off with the button, and a parameter of the effect can be changed with the controller. For distortion effects, this is usually the drive parameter or the mix parameter for modulation, delay and reverb effects. If you press the control down and then turn it, a second parameter can be set for certain effects. Once you have made all the settings, you can save the changes by holding down the current rig button for a moment. Then select the desired memory location by pressing the corresponding rig button, and the rig is stored at this location. The 5 knobs in the middle row also have a secondary function that can be controlled by pressing down the knob and then turning it. For example, you can control the input noise gate by pressing and turning the gain knob. The secondary function of rig volume can be used to adjust the DAW or Bluetooth volume. Now let's take a look at the structure of the Profiler player. There are 50 rigs available, and they are divided into 10 banks with 5 rigs each. The rigs are selected using buttons 1 to 5. The banks are changed using the bank button. with each bank having a specific colour. If you have connected a Kemper cabinet or a speaker cabinet with a Kemper cone to the monitor out, you can activate the Kemper cone function with the cone button. This function is not activated by default. The button must be held down for a moment, and after activating the Kemper cone mode, you can switch between full range mode, the button lights up white, and speaker imprint mode, the button lights up red, by briefly pressing the cone button. There are various ways to connect the Profiler player to external devices. Audio files can be sent from a smartphone or tablet to the Profiler player via Bluetooth. All you need to do is establish a Bluetooth connection between the two devices. To use the Rig Manager on a mobile device, a Wi-Fi connection is required, which works via the access point method. If you want to use the Rig Manager on a computer, a USB connection to the computer is required, and you can use the same connection for USB audio. The Bluetooth/Wi-Fi button can be used to activate the connection to a smartphone or tablet. You can then edit the Profiler player from your mobile device via the Rig Manager, or run audio files for jamming with Bluetooth audio via the Profiler player. To do this, you must first establish an access point connection by holding the Bluetooth/Wi-Fi button. It will flash to indicate that it's ready. Then scan the QR code on the bottom of the Profiler player with your smartphone or tablet. The access point connection will now be established automatically. As soon as the connection to the smartphone or tablet is established, the button lights up green. You can download the Rig Manager for iOS free of charge from the Apple App Store, and the Rig Manager for Android is available free of charge from the Google Play Store. And the Rig Manager for Amazon Fire OS is available from the Amazon App Store. Once the connection between your smartphone or tablet and the Profiler player has been established, you can now edit the Profiler player via the Rig Manager. You can also set up a connection in home network mode in the Rig Manager by entering your SSID and Wi-Fi password in the system settings. You can play audio files, e.g. from Spotify, via the Profiler player from your smartphone or tablet. To do this, a Bluetooth connection to the Profiler player must first be established. To do this, briefly press the Bluetooth/Wi-Fi button, then it will flash blue. It is ready to connect. Then select the Profiler player as a Bluetooth device in the system settings of your smartphone or tablet. When the button lights up blue, both are connected and you can listen to the audio files via the Profiler. If the button lights up purple, then there is a Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connection, and both Bluetooth audio and Rig Manager can be used. The Bluetooth connection is not automatically activated after a restart, but known devices are recognized and connected as soon as you briefly press the button again. Rig Manager on the computer. You can connect the player to a computer via the USB port and then edit the Profiler player using the Rig Manager. You can download the Rig Manager directly from the Kemper homepage. This requires a Kemper customer account, which is of course also free of charge. The version of the Rig Manager on the computer differs from the version for smartphone or tablet in that only the existing rigs in the Profiler player can be edited via the smartphone or tablet. In the Rig Manager on the computer, you have access to rig packs, the rig exchange with almost 20,000 rigs, and rigs can also be saved on the computer. This means that storage space is no longer limited. This version of Rig Manager can also be used to automatically download software updates to the Profiler player. The Profiler player is also equipped with a USB audio function. The computer recognizes it as an audio interface, and you can record directly with the Profiler player into your DAW or use the Profiler player for practicing and jamming with audio tracks from the computer. Reamping is also possible via USB without additional devices. USB MIDI can also be used via the USB interface. You can control the rigs and effects in the Profiler player via MIDI program changes and control changes from a universal MIDI foot controller. With a standard USB MIDI adapter, you can also connect MIDI boards with 5-pin DIN sockets to the player's USB socket.